Listen, just before we start, I want to try something out with all of us. So, what I want us to do is we breathe in, and when you breathe out, you have to make a face like this. Okay?
Okay.
So, does that complete our video for today?
Yeah, I think we all can go home now. Hi guys, I'm Vishwanshu.
Nidhi Agarwal.
And I'm Atul Gupta.
Thank you for stopping by the Spiritual Station. Today we're going to be reacting to a video by this gentleman called Russell Brand. He's a Hollywood actor and a comedian. One movie I remember liking of his was Forgetting Sarah Marshall. He's very funny man, and he got into spirituality and he's got really deep into it.
Wow.
So I thought it will be a nice
Interesting.
relatable video for all of us to watch. So let's
Yeah.
start.
I've meditated every day. This is what has happened. I've started doing videos on how I've meditated every day. But more importantly than that, probably, is that my assumption of who I am has been challenged because I have a daily experience of consciousness that is distinct from my individual sense of myself. Not to say that often when I sit down meditating, I just sort of close my eyes and I'm thinking, just stuff going on in my head. And I think all you're doing really is closing your eyes. The type of meditation that I primarily do is called transcendental meditation. It's just the name. It's a form of mantra meditation where you think a word given to you by your teacher, and whenever you notice you're not thinking that word, you return to it. Eventually, through the repetition of this word, sometimes the mind kind of sinks into a state of deep awareness where you are not continually involved in the construction of inner narrative. Put simply, the sense of thinking continually, like, oh god, this meditation's a bit boring, or that was terrible, this thing happened, I wish I could do that, I'd like to, maybe one day I will learn how to do scuba diving. Like, that stops and there's just a beautiful sense of peace. I notice that part of the point of meditation is to return myself continually to the present, to the moment, to watch how I have a tendency mentally to be thinking about something from the past or projecting to something in the future as kind of inability to just be still and be present in the moment. The mantra gives the mind something to do so that it has that to think, like your little mind's a child and you give it a yo-yo or a biscuit or something, or a PS4 these days, and you say, you play with that, I'll be over here. Now, as that particular piece of language suggests, it's as if the thinking mind is not the ultimate self, almost as if there are many, many selves. If you think of the Olympian pantheistic model, it's like there's the god of war, the god of love, the messenger god, the ultimate god, the god of under the sea, the various different forms of deities. Meaning, in practical and individual terms, that sometimes I am governed by their different humours. When my blood is up, I'm a different person. There are decisions I'll make when I'm angry, or decisions I'll make when I'm fearful, that I would never consider making otherwise. Meditation means that the crucible or the screen upon which all of these images are reflected becomes somewhat, not elevated, but at least I'm aware, like say all the gods live on Mount Olympus, I'm aware of myself as Mount Olympus and not all of the different gods. I'm aware that, hold on, I'm the continuum, or in the language of Rumi, I am a guest house and there are many visitors, jealousy, sadness, rage, anger, love. You know, when you're in love, it consumes you, and there's nothing but the love. That's why it's so beautiful, isn't it? That early bliss of falling in love, that giddy euphoria, that almost hysteria, the moments when you find out they like you too, and you go, what did you, and then you have those first revelatory conversations. What about there when we were talking that time? Yeah, oh my god, I already liked you then. The giddy silly bliss of those days. to be free from the self, almost like what we really want is to be free of the self. We will take drugs to be free of the self. We watch movies to be free of the self. We buy clothes, eat food, fall in love to be free of the self. And yet, are we continually telling one another, be yourself, as if that something can be realised through this constructed identity? Meditation helped me to understand that I am not what I think and feel. I am witnessing what I think and feel. And as I do that, I'm less likely to get involved in altercations, conflicts or problems that are as a result of my thoughts and feelings. They still happen and I still have the thoughts and feelings, but my relationship with them is changing, it's getting easier. Furthermore, I'm more relaxed, more calm, less concerned about external things, less tied to material things. Still have those things. I've been long indoctrinated and inculcated by the culture I was born into, so I still care what other people think about me, want people to respect me and be attracted to me, all of those things that come with being a human animal socialised in the time that I was socialised. But by having access to these ancient archaic principles of meditation, my perspective on myself and my life changes, and in fact that's the point of them. That's why I always say that the mindfulness movement as an extraction of spiritual principles from their theological underpinnings is a disrespectful thing. Do some mindfulness in order to become a better lawyer and then crack on, even though I've heard very great teachers say, your meditation will improve your accountancy or your love making. David Lynch even once said to me when I was a lot younger, you will enjoy pornography even more when you meditate. But the true goal for me of the spiritual experience is to be free of watching pornography, to be free of caring about my professional duties, except for as they bear on helping others. I have to be a comedian that's useful to other people. I have to be a comedian that is loving in my personal relationships, that the aim becomes a kind of service of a higher or different good, not just contained within my individualistic, materialistic, rationalistic needs. I am me. I'm going to die one day. I better get as much stuff for me and my family as I possibly can. All those ideas, they abide in me. Yes, they do. But my journey, my intention, the map that I follow is one of transcendence. And by transcendence, I mean first and foremost, we transcend the belief of who we are, and then perhaps together we can transcend the ideas of what a society is. We can start to think about, how could we form different systems, different communities together? How can I relate to other people differently? Is it possible that every interaction I have ends with that person feeling a little better for having known me, not somewhat diminished or somehow, hurt or cheapened or wounded or dismissed, So it has, on one level, it's very simple and it's about kindness and recognition that who I thought myself to be was a construct. On a deeper level, it's the recognition that we are all one, that we probably all access the same place through meditation. And probably I say as if that can be ever proven, but it seems that there's a sort of a perennialism, a universalism to the way that these states are described throughout history and throughout various forms of documentation, even though the language might change. Well, it might be the angel Gabriel, or it might be the Holy Ghost, or it might be some transcendent mystical force, or it might be the bliss of oneness, or the freedom from the wheel. But it all, for me, seems like the same place we're all heading. We're all heading in the direction of oneness. We're all heading in the direction of love. And meditation is an invaluable tool on facilitating that journey. That's why I meditate every day, and that's why you should meditate every day.
Nice. How did you come across this video? I didn't know Russell Brand was so deep into his meditation.
Yeah, I searched spirituality and I always knew he's spiritual as a person because I've seen his interviews before. And I searched spirituality, I came across this video and I saw some of it and I was like, yeah, this is something that we should definitely react to.
Yeah. What do you guys feel after seeing this?
I loved how we got this perspective from someone who I couldn't have possibly imagined getting this from. So from a Hollywood actor, just how this transformed his life makes it sound so relatable and makes it sound very doable for all of us.
Given their lifestyles, like it's so difficult, right, to stay away.
This is one man who I really respect from that regard, that he's come from a background of people who, you know, make it a point to make it a part of their livelihood to indulge in a lot of these
Elevated.
addictions.
Sorry. He
And-
was involved in it, sorry.
Yeah, so he's come from a background of those
Right.
kind of people, and he still has become so distinct from it and still wants to use his artistic talents that he has
Sure.
been endowed upon to help other people, you know, which he
Yeah.
spoke about in the
Right.
speech. I loved how he spoke about meditation. I loved how he spoke about the mantra. He basically delayered the self from the mind, which is the soul and the mind, which is, just to explain it slightly easier because his accent can be a little difficult to understand, but the soul is different from the mind. And how you know what Descartes had said, that I think therefore I am, he made it clear that I'm witnessing what I'm thinking, and that is the self. So it's a very good one. And what he spoke about the mantra being a tool in which you can use to focus the mind so it doesn't move from here or
Sure.
there.
Sure.
And then the soul is witnessing what the mind is focused on, and that helps in evolving in the meditation. And the meditation that I do and we do also has a mantra that you focus on.
Yeah,
And-
so I could relate to that part very well.
yeah, and it's something new. I never thought of it from that angle.
Yeah.
And when he said it's like giving your mind is like a child, and you're giving it a yo-yo so it's not distracted from here to there. The mantra is like that yo-yo or the PS4. So it was kind of, I liked it. It was very profound.
Very nicely put.
I also really liked what he said. I think all of us talk about living in the present. That's something which not just spirituality, philosophy, everyone teaches you
Sure,
about it.
sure.
And how we can use meditation as the tool to actually achieve living in the present. So when you are meditating, you're not trying to think about the future, you're not trying to think about the past. You're using that mantra to remain focused on
On the
just
present.
getting aware of yourself at that point of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also liked how honest he was. You know, he said that, yeah, these are, I mean, when I am meditating, I am feeling bliss. And obviously, he's trying to make efforts to carry that feeling through his day. But he does also be very frank and honest about certain things that he wants to move away from life to. But because he's so ingrained for so many years in his style of living, that it's not.
And it's true for all of us.
All of us, all of
It's
us.
true for, I mean, that point that he made is applicable to all of us sitting here, and I'm sure it'll be applicable to you as
But
well.
the point is that he's thinking about it.
Yes.
So that's the great
He's
start.
aware of it.
He's aware of it. Absolutely.
The first step of trying to change something is you becoming aware
Absolutely.
of, like he mentioned, the clear differentiation between the soul or the self and the mind can be literally perceived when you're meditating.
Yeah.
And through the process you can actually be able to experience that in a much better way.
So every time I sat to meditate for a long period initially, my mind kept getting distracted. So I thought to myself that I'm sitting, I'm trying to meditate, but even while I'm meditating, all I'm thinking about is what happened in the past, what I should be doing tomorrow.
Planning
So
ahead.
how is this? Yeah. So how is this helping me? But when you keep practicing and you keep practicing, there will be a point when it'll start with just a microsecond, and then the time will keep increasing where you are able to be in the present. So just what I'm trying to share is, don't let those distractions be like stop you from continuing with that practice and taking it forward.
Yes, meditation is a beautiful tool, guys. It's something that people right now equate to you not being normal or you not being, a part of what everyone does. But I'm telling you, we human beings have three aspects. We have the mental aspect, the physical aspect, and the spiritual aspect. We tend to focus more on the physical and mental, and we neglect that our spirit also needs food, just like how we give food to our physical body and how we give food to our mental body in the forms of books and other movies of gratification. Our spirit also needs food. So It's very normal. It's not something that you can continue doing what you're doing, living your life as normal, indulge in whatever you want to indulge in, but very important to try and stay connected with your spirit at the same time.
And he mentioned that in the video. I like
Yeah.
that he said that you're still going to do what you normally do. The only thing that meditation helps you is while you're doing that, you're thinking of a more universal and universal consciousness, a more higher power when you're doing what you're doing.
Sure. And one line he mentioned in this video when you mentioned movies, it came back to me, was that people, I'm forgetting exactly the words, but people, they go to watch movies or they do certain activities to distance themselves from their own self. Which I thought he meant to say that, you're trying to keep your mind active and busy, but through those activities you're not being really able to focus on yourself. So I think what meditation allows you to do is to keep your mind busy, but at the same time, even like you said, focus on yourself, try and understand yourself better. And I actually see that during these times. I interact with so many people, my family, my friends, and even myself. We have so much time on our hands right now. I think we won't have this kind of time hopefully ever again in our lives.
Hopefully.
But people are just so caught up in trying to stay busy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be one particular form, it could be through different forms. So people are still so caught up trying to just be busy, and that just shows how inclined we are to just keep doing things. You just want to keep yourself active and busy at all times. You just want to be distant from yourself. You can't be alone. You can't spend time alone.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult for us, and because we've evolved from a line of from animalistic tendencies, it's very difficult for us to elevate our minds. And initially it poses the more we try, the more distractions we get, because it's trying to sort of go against a force that has already been pushing us down for ages.
Sure.
Of our evolutionary process. So when we transcend, and that's why I like the term transcendental meditation, when we transcend that barrier, we sort of evolve, and then there is a force, but the force becomes weaker and weaker, and you're able to sort of go higher and higher.
Yeah.
So it's very
It's
really
like compound effect, I guess. With time, as you keep practicing and
exactly
meditating.
that force will stop affecting you, and you'll evolve yourself as a human being.
No, I think it was a good video, man. It was a very nice
Great,
video.
thank you, Russell Brand. I think a
You
lot.
got yourself a new fan right here.
No, I think along with, like you said, some speakers are more inspirational because you're living in society, you're doing things like normal, and at the same time you're able to have the spiritual aspect of you come out and talk about it. Many people have it, but they're not able to come out and express so well. And you
Yeah.
were very articulate, and you were very clear, and at the same time very intellectually thought-provoking as well.
Yes.
So please comment, please like, please subscribe, please give your thoughts, and
Until then, stay curious.
And stay spiritual.
thank you for stopping by the Spiritual Station. Until next time.
Bye.